Pam Tanowitz.
Hi, David.
Hi.
Hi.
It's such a pleasure to have you here at the Australian Ballet. You and I have known each other for 15 years, something like that?
Yeah, I think so, maybe 12.
Yeah. Well, I've seen this sort of arc of your career for 12 years. I know it's been going on for much longer than that. But I'm, wondering what it's like to come here to the Australian Ballet and then as well to create this work predominantly on the men of the company and with a dear friend of yours as the artistic director. What's going on in your mind with the whole situation?
Well, I think there are a lot of things at play. One is, being invited to make this work by you is unbelievable. It's a great opportunity, but it also is so meaningful because you have seen my career for this long, and we've worked together in different capacities and have known each other so that you trust me.
I do. Implicitly.
There's a lot of freedom with that.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's freedom for me to just really create and not. It's just it's a really nice sense of freedom and creativity, in this environment, and coming from New York where nothing is normal.
Working yet?
Nobody's working. If we work, we're in a studio with like 2 dancers with masks totally spread out. I can't have them touch. I can't have them, just like, yesterday in rehearsal when I was working with 2 dancers on a little duet. First of all, I'm allowed to make a duet where dancers can touch. And then I'm touching them, in a very, touching them like this. Oh, go here. Where things where you would take for granted. And now I can work like that. So for me to be able to, I traveled halfway around the world to be able to walk into a room of 20 dancers with no masks, and I can talk to them and I can make things like I used to, is just, I just started crying the other day when I'm like a secret crier, like in the world. I'm a little bit tough, but then when I actually let things get, when I process things in private, it's really, so the combination of you being here, being able to work in a way that I haven't been able to work in over a year and a half is just, it's amazing. And then the dancers themselves.
Speaking of crying.
Yes.
I was in the studio yesterday watching you create, and I saw a big chunk of a part with the men and with the solo that you're creating, and I got teary. And so you're a secret crier. I'm not a secret crier. I've gotten choked up with the dancers.
Yeah.
I give speeches to them, and I get choked up. I find now that I'm stepping into this role as artistic director, it's hugely emotional. And so yesterday we were in the studio and I watched you creating this really gorgeous phrase and chunk of movement on the dancers.
Yeah.
And they just looked fabulous. I mean, I think they're absorbing your movement really, really well.
They are.
How do you feel the dancers, because it's new for them, this kind of movement, it's new quality.
Yeah.
So how do you feel the dancers are absorbing your movement?
Oh, they're up for the challenge. I mean, they're movers, so, a lot, even though I get invited to ballet companies and different modern companies and this and that, I've sort of stopped making a line where it's ballet and modern, even though I know, like for me, it's all moving, right?
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I approach it now. I used to get really heady about it and think like, oh, okay, they're ballet dancers, I'm gonna do that. I now approach it like it's my work and it's these dancers or it's these dancers. And that being said, I create something special for the dancers that are in front of me. So to me, it's really about a collaboration. It's bringing my vision with their history of their bodies. And I think that the dancers are doing a phenomenal job. I mean, they are so present. they take corrections immediately. Not one, I don't think anyone sits down ever. And the people that I'm not working with are in the back practicing if they're covering or they're working on something.
Yeah.
So, and that's really all I ask of dancers. I mean, yes, of course, I love beautiful technique, but I would take a present thinking, problem-solving dancer over a dancer that was just interested in technique, you know.
And empty, in a way.
And all the dancers in the room are, you know, they're excited, they're ready. You know, I also have them help me problem solve. So after they sort of feel comfortable with my movement, I then ask them to take my movement and we do different things with it.
That's amazing.
So they feel ownership of it as well. That's why.
And you can understand that in the ballet world, that is sometimes so seldom. It's really, it isn't used very often, the sense of learning a piece of choreography and then asked to make it their own in a way. And I think that sense of choice is what's so empowering to them. And that's what I'm sensing in the studio during, you know, the creative process, is that they are allowed to have this voice. They're allowed to make things their own, phrase it their own. Every time I walk into the studio, there's a great energy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
because they're present. They're like present in the moment, and I think that one of the reasons why you were watching Adam's solo and you were really moved was because, yes, it's my choreography and I set up the structure, and it's not improv in the sense that he can do any step, but there's freedom within the structure. So so there's a part of him that's what is coming through. It's being filtered through my movement or whatever you want to, you know, my structure, my content, but it's him coming through that. And that's what's really interesting to me. Less interesting is be there on count 8, turn on count 12, be over that, you know, that's something else, and that's important, and that's a different dance, and I don't need to do that because other people do that. So like when I make work, I look at it in a continuum of dance history. So you know, I treat music differently. I treat my collaboration with dancers differently than other choreographers. Other choreographers do other things well, and that doesn't mean I need to do those things. I want to do something different. So because I want to feel like I'm adding.
Yeah, well, you are adding, but as well, I think what's so interesting about your approach to work is your fascination with the past, your fascination with ballet technique, and it's not your, you know, it's not your past, but it's your fascination with that past. So when you and I have worked together, you ask me to do, you know, the in-between steps, or you ask me to repeat certain little steps like a glissade or a jump or a whatever. And that's what I find fascinating with your work, is you come from an outsider's perspective in a way, but you take who's in front of you, say it's a dancer with this company or whomever, and you start to turn the knob just a little bit, and then more, and you add their personality into it. And that's what I'm seeing in this process.
Well, that's what's fun for me, too. I mean, it's actually fun. And, you know, I think that's a great way to put it. Like, I set up situations, and then as I get to know the dancer, I can start, you know, I love, you know, when I'm rehearsing one part, but other people are practicing over here, and my eye catches what they're doing, or they're marking something, and then that becomes part of the picture. Because when I make work, I like to zero in on something, but then also see what it looks like as it's almost like a landscape, and then like a detail of a painting. And then that's why I'm so excited about using the backstage of the Sydney Opera House. So I could get that depth. You know, which I think is going to be really you know, another whole theatrical level.
Which the audience will love to see, that kind of dimension.
Yeah.
And see what's happening back there, but see what's happening right in front of their face.
And sometimes if I have a couple things happening at once, I think I set up situations where it's okay if you don't see everything.
If you miss it.
Or if you miss it, because if you're zeroing in here, you've seen my work.
Yeah.
This is existing, someone else is seeing that, or someone else is seeing it both. Or someone gets really involved with a dancer. Like I want my work to operate on all those levels.
Yeah. So let's talk specifically about Watermark.
Yes.
Tell me where the title came from. Tell me about also your collaboration with Caroline Shaw, who's the composer of the piece of music, and how that has informed, the work moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think when you first asked me to make a ballet, and then you talked about men, because you were interested because you knew you had Serenade in the program and that you wanted to, and that's heavily female, so you wanted to, have the flip of that. So that was in my head. And then when I was searching for music, I love Caroline's music. I've worked with her before. But I used all the music I knew about. So I called her and I said, I'm doing this amazing project. And she's like, have you heard my score Watermark? And I said, no. Send it to me right now. So she did. I fell in love with it. It's a huge orchestral piece.
Amazing.
And it's being played live. And it's my first time having one of my ballets with a live full orchestra.
Can we just take a moment with
which
that?
Is incredible.
I think it's not only an amazing moment for me as director, and for this company, but it's also an amazing moment for you because it's your first time you have a full orchestra.
Yeah.
In your career.
In my whole career.
Amazing.
And you have to understand, I'm a modern dance choreographer. I started making dances and my first show is at CBGB's Gallery on the Bowery, where I had to go around pulling out nails myself from the floor. So to be able to have a show, if I told the 20-year-old Pam with a 50-year-old that one day the 51-year-old Pam would have a show at the Sydney Opera House with a full live orchestra, I don't know if she would believe that. But
here she is.
Yeah, exactly. But I was talking about Watermark. So Caroline, I think the original score was maybe 20 minutes, and we wanted it a little longer, so she created a whole new section. So it is a combination of an existing piece with new stuff in it, which is also really exciting.
How amazing is it to have a composer that you love to
and
collaborate,
trust. Love and
you can
trust.
call up and she can add, add pieces,
busy.
Add stuff to an existing work. I mean, that's sort of the golden ticket in a way.
Yeah. No.
To be able to have someone you love so much
Absolutely.
through a collaboration.
And she's flexible too, which is also not always the case.
No.
She loves dance. She loves, when I've used her music before, sometimes my choreography makes her hear her music differently, and also vice versa. So it's such an amazing collaboration, but she's so flexible. So there's a section in the music where the orchestra is humming, and then we both thought it would be amazing to also have the dancers and the musicians maybe at the end to do that together. So she's very open.
Amazing.
If I called her right now and said,
this isn't working,
or can I move stuff around? If she would do it. Yeah. Because she understands dance. She understands that it's not just a music concert and that things need to breathe, or So, and to have a living, breathing composer with the living, breathing orchestra and the living, breathing dancing is just so exciting.
And a living, breathing choreographer.
Right.
I think, that's, to me, so, the approach of my first commission, because you know that you are my first commission as director. Yeah. And just this sort of conglomeration of artists, of you, of Caroline, of Nicolette, who will be conducting, music director here, to the dancers. I think it's all just a true testament.
And the costumes, Reed and
Harriet.
Harriet.
And the costumes
are gorgeous costumes.
Yep, Reed and Harriet from New York.
Yep.
Who you've collaborated with often.
Yep.
it just is a testament to the fact that art is still so of the moment, and collaboration is still so important. And I'm so excited. So Pam, can't wait until the premiere. And you're not used to this many shows. So the dancers, what I love so much is that the dancers will have 20, 30 some shows.
It's unbelievable.
To, as you said, to be given the freedom to start to shape the movement themselves.
Exactly.
And I know you so well that you will give these dancers that liberty to try things out, to test things. And we, you know, a ballet dancer 20 years in, I was never given that opportunity very often. So it's really special for the dancers. And I know it'll be special for the audience members.
I hope so.
Thanks, love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Down under.